Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Three Crones in the Woo-Woo. My name is Gayle Nicholson. I am your Dragon Slayer Crone, and I am with Creative Command Coaching and Consulting. To my side today, buddy, is Miss Damaris Samolinski with Ask the Genie with Damaris Samolinski, and she is our Stargazer Crone. She's going to tell us all about what the planets are doing in our space today. And today, Miss Krista is driving a stick shift between countries somewhere in Europe. And I've got this, European vacation National Lampoon going through my head, the poor girl. So she won't be joining us on air, but she will probably be, with us in spirit and highly critiquing everything that we're going to talk about today with regard to the crystal, because we're pulling out this big old Bible of rocks and we're going to try and cover her segment for her. So this is going to be good. Get your friends in here now because the clusterfuck in progress. All right. How are you doing, Damaris?
I'm doing well. I'm just, taking in all these energies and really sort of like sitting with it, when Mercury is retrograde, I lay low,
Really?
Yes.
I wish I could. I wish I could. I mean, a few years ago, I learned the secret of Mercury retrograde. And for me anyway, the secret to Mercury retrograde is expect mistakes, make time for aggravations, irritations, just be patient with it because it's going to happen and it's going to pass, right? And go back and review or rewrite or edit or anything that you've stopped working on for a while, right? Yeah. Because that's the way you can make Mercury retrograde productive. It's all about reviewing what has gone before, crossing the T's, putting on the I's, so that in the end, the communication is clear, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about that today, actually, in full detail. But I kind of lay low because even though it's, Mercury retrograde is supposed to help us, it is supposed to help us see what we have, what we're not paying attention to, say, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, but I that's why I also lay low so that I can pay attention, because I like to talk a lot. And when we talk, we're not listening, Yeah. I'm a talker.
Go figure. A New Yorker who's a talker. Where did that come from? I have no idea.
I like that. I like the accent too.
Thank you. I have no idea what borough that accent is from, but it pulled out
maybe
somewhere.
The Bronx.
I'm channeling the chick from My Cousin Vinny. Marissa Tomei is my spirit animal.
I love her. Where was she from in the movie? I don't know if she was from the Bronx. I don't remember.
Brooklyn, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe Brooklyn.
Yeah. She said, I was reading an article about that movie recently because it's like one of the best legal movies ever, right?
Yes.
And she said that she didn't know she could do the part when her agent called her, and her agent said, just pretend you just got your nails done and they're all wet. Right?
Awesome. Yeah. Yes, I watch it, and every time I watch it, it's like I've watched it for the first time. I laugh just as hard. I enjoy it just as much. Yeah. Great movie.
Awesome stuff. All right. Well, that's really wonderful stuff. How's the weather down where you're at?
Today is cloudy. Yesterday was beautiful, sunny all day, 75. Today it's like in the 60s and cloudy. There's some weeks you see a little bit of sunshine, but then it goes back in. But for the last 2 weeks, it was like cloudy here. you know?
Okay.
So yeah, they say this weekend's supposed to be really nice though. So I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, I am too. Like by Friday, it's supposed to be 80, I think, up here. And like you, the last 2 weeks, it's been, well, for us, it's been raining.
Yeah.
Every day but 2 days it rained.
Yep, here too.
And it was still gray. You know, it didn't clear up or anything. The last couple of days it's cleared up and it's just gorgeous. But like you, we've dipped a little bit. It's a little chillier today.
Yeah.
I have my windows open. But I think we've still got a little bit more sun than you do down there.
Yeah, no, it peaks a little bit and goes right back in, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So welcome everyone who is here. Hi, Harry. How you doing? Good to see you. I just love his logo. But
what is, I like it too, but what is it? Does it represent?
Okay, so the A in the middle is the Star Trek emblem. Okay. But then the rest of that around that is like an atomic nuclear you know what we're talking.
Yeah,
you know the word I'm looking for. The planets do it all the time. You know, like the revolution.
Orbiting.
Orbit. The atomic orbit. That's what that is.
Very nice.
I just love his logo there. But then, you know, I'm a big Picard sucker, and you know, I love it, you know. Went to see Guardians of the Galaxy this week with Harry. So
how was it?
Oh my God, it was wonderful. It was absolutely so beautifully done, so funny. I mean, each and every character will crack you up individually. You know, you're not just waiting on the one star to show up and make things funny, you know. And it was really well written. I cried. I actually cried in that movie. Yeah. And it was just so good. I don't want to say anything about it other than it's Rocket's origin story.
Yeah.
And just, you got to go see it. It's the best Guardian of the Galaxy's movie so far. And probably one of the top best Marvel movies of the entire MCU.
Wow.
It was really, really well done. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. See, Harry agrees. Best movie he's seen this year.
Yeah. Nice review. Nice review.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. Well, let's see. If you don't mind, I'm gonna pop this in here right now. I'm doing a live appearance this week. So
ooh.
Yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun. I'll just throw this up here.
What are you gonna be doing?
I'm gonna be appearing on another podcast and doing a lecture about emotional freedom technique and also doing live card and energy reading.
Very nice.
Thanks. I want to start doing that for you guys' shows. You got to let me know when you're going to be on ahead of time so I can put you up a commercial like that. Okay. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about this because it says on that little promo thing, suggested donation is $15. Now, this is tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern time until 10 p.m. I will be on with Joanne. I will be talking about EFT, how I got into EFT, some of the results that I've created with EFT for myself and for other people. Yeah. And the suggested donation is $15. Now, you don't get the Zoom link until you make your donation. As soon as you make your donation, a Zoom link will be sent out to you to attend the event. So it is a private paid event. Now, here's something that I'm throwing in here that Joanne doesn't even know anything about yet. But if you donate more than $30 and send me in my messenger a screenshot of your donation, I will give you a personal private 30-minute reading for no fee at all. All right. So if you donate more than $30, what?
For the EFT? The reading for the EFT?
For the event tomorrow night at 8:30.
No, I'm saying the free thing that you're giving. What is it?
It'll be a reading, an intuitive tarot reading. Okay.
Yep.
So, Or, if you watch the show and you want an EFT treatment, we can do that as well. I'm more than happy. We'll do half an hour of whatever you need. But yeah, if you donate more than $30, just send me a screenshot of your donation, and I will be happy to offer you 30 minutes of services at no additional charge to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. I know you were on one of Joanne's shows a couple of weeks ago. Yes. I got a chance to pop in and watch that for a little while. It was really
awesome. She sent me the link yesterday.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So we'll have to chop that up into little bits and make some shorts for the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Krista's been playing with that a lot lately. All righty. So let's see. Anything else? Oh, before we get into today's cosmic weather report, if you will, let's talk a little bit about the coronation.
Okay.
All right. Now,
I didn't watch it.
I didn't get a chance to watch it much because I did have to open the restaurant that day. But I did watch a little bit beforehand when I was getting ready. And here's the interesting thing. It was kind of a,
Yeah.
I'm sure that everything is exactly as it's supposed to be. Okay. I will give you that. But Queen Elizabeth was such a formidable figure. Okay. That it's kind of like a humanitarian has now taken over one of the most powerful countries in the entire planet. And I'm just not sure how that's going to play out.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Forgive me, because I am a big Royals fan. But he is not somebody that you look to and go, I will follow him into battle.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
And then there's all of this sour taste in my mouth anyway.
Mine too.
Who was crowned at his side.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we get to explain to all of our children for generations to come how the side chick sits on the throne.
There was somebody that posted a mug or something that said, "Oh, to all the side chicks, you have hope," or something or other.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a person that Britons are supposed to look to as the head of the Anglican Church. So, I mean, I'm not standing in judgment of what he's doing. I'm just calling out the inconsistencies and, cognitive dissonance of the man filling the role.
Exactly.
So
I understand, and I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, good luck to him.
Yeah.
I think he's got an awful big dress to fill, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think you and I are not alone, because I had guests in the restaurant yesterday from Australia, and I asked them, so how do you feel about the new crown? And it is, I asked it this way. I said, is it, yay king, or is it like, eh? And they were like, eh. And the other thing that kind of stuck with me was that the only two American celebrities that were there were two people that were part of the charities that the prince has overseen for many, many years. Okay. Lionel Richie and Katy Perry. Okay. As far as friends like Elton John or any of the other celebrities that have been friends of the crown, none of them. There were no other than the people that were paid to be there. None. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, because those were Diana's friends.
Yep.
So
I mean, Elton John sang a song to her. It was beautiful.
Yeah. He rewrote Candle in the Wind for her. Yeah.
I love him. He's one of my favorite. He's a legend to me. I love him.
Yep. Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, my dear, are you ready for this?
I am.
Let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to talk about Mercury going direct on the 14th, which is like the day before the next show.
Okay.
So I want to talk about it. Yeah. So, the purpose of Mercury retrograde is, first, let me say this. Mercury is all about how we perceive the world around us, how we understand it and perceive it. So when Mercury goes direct, it's usually so that we can reevaluate, redirect, get more information, become more aware, in order to move forward in life with better communication, if you will. So
Okay.
when Mercury goes direct, we get confronted sometimes with challenges, but those challenges are there to help us and to identify what it is that we ourselves has to reevaluate, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So each of us need to pay attention to those, those challenges that we meet during the retrograde, because they're giving us clues as to what it is that how we need to perceive life in a different way, so that again we can have better communication and better relationships with people, because that's what Mercury is all about. It's all about communication, and actually, like I said before, it's how we perceive our reality. What's the understanding of our reality that we have? Were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So once it goes direct on the 14th, it's for us to then implement whatever we reevaluated, whatever we, figured out that we need to change within the self to have better relationships and better communication for the betterment of ourselves and everybody around us. And so that's what it's really for. So, but Jupiter is going into Taurus on I believe it's the 16th. So Taurus is all about our resilience. It's all about the earth. What are we doing, to sort of like earth keepers? I always call it the earth keepers. What are we doing to better the pollution? It's all about the environment. It's all about foods, our substance. So Jupiter wants to expand our consciousness, really, as to how to do that better, how to maintain the planet that we all share in a better way. Now, Pluto in Aquarius is squaring that Jupiter, is going to be squaring that Jupiter in Taurus. What does that mean? Pluto wants to dig up everything that we are hiding within ourselves, everything that we need to sort of like look at, and wants to expand our consciousness. So what it's going to do, it's almost going to put us in between a rock and a hard place. We're either going to do or die, pretty much. And I'm saying that metaphorically, not literally, right? What changes do we need to make life better for ourselves and the world at large? What I wrote, when you had asked me if I could write something up last week about the coronation, in the future, I mean, it's going to take time, but in the future, we're now going to sort of like look up to, I know you love the royals and everything, but it's almost like we have to look at ourselves and what legacy we ourselves are going to leave behind, and not necessarily look at other people that have been leaving a legacy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And so this is all in preparation for us, to see the world from a higher perspective, to expand our consciousness, to do for the earth so that we actually have a place to live, that it's not polluted or the food is not poisonous and so on and so forth. And so that we can leave our own legacy. And so it's more to look towards the future, not towards, the past, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's more to look at ourselves as, okay, what am I doing? Or like, what are you doing, right? To better the world and to fulfill your purpose. So we're not going to be looking at, I'm going to call them idols, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be looking at idols anymore. We're going to be looking within. They say in order to win, you have to look within. And so that's what we're doing, especially with that Mercury retrograde, is looking within and seeing what we need to work on. For me, when I look at it, sometimes I'm not confident with myself. So I know I have to work on that. I know I have to stand on my conviction. I've studied enough. I've experienced enough things in my life to know what works, what doesn't work, and to stand in who I am. And so I know that I still have to work a little bit on that. And that's what I've, been working on through this Mercury retrograde, is really being confident, allowing someone else to shine, but also shining myself. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Taking the light away, let's say, from you, but also standing in my own light, so to speak. All of these planets are working in conjunction to help us, to help us stand in our truth, to help us be confident, to help us not be idolizing someone else and focus on what our legacy is going to be and what we're leaving behind for 7 generations to come, because it's really about 7 generations. We're making an impact on the next 7 generations. And so that's what, all of these planets are helping us do. So it's exciting. It's exciting, to understand all of that.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. As you were talking about that, I was thinking about the fact that, we have gone, just in our generation, since television was invented, right?
Yeah.
We've gone from no television at all to 3 channels.
Yes.
Right? And these people, even the puppets, Howdy Doody was like, oh my gosh, larger than life, and we look up, like you said, to these idols, right? And what they tell us is what we're supposed to do, whether it rings honest with us or not. And please don't misconstrue what I just said to think that I just said that Howdy Doody wasn't a good role model. It's not what I'm saying. But we were programmed, and we learned that the people that talk about on TV, that brush your teeth twice a day, we got to do that because they said so.
Exactly.
Forget the fact that we're ingesting fluoride, which is poisonous to us.
Yes.
Twice a day.
Exactly.
Gloss over that. Nobody saw that. Just brush your teeth because you got to have these pearly whites. Yes. Even though we've been dealing with and not losing teeth for 10,000 years before toothpaste was invented.
Exactly.
So at any rate,
but yeah, so I just want to add, we have 10 planets that we really look at, right? The first 5 planets are usually the personal planets for our own sort of transformation, and that's the sun sign, the moon sign, Mercury, that's Venus, Mars. Those are the 5. So Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Yeah. Those are the 5. Those are personal signs that are supposed to be there for our personal transformation. The other 5, which is Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are there. There's a collective, and generational. The last 3 are generational, but those 5 are sort of like collective. So we really need to focus on our 5 in order to have our own transformation. So the sun sign is really like, how the world sees us. The moon is how we respond to the world. Mercury is how we perceive our world.
Right.
Mars is Venus is the way we express love. It's also our feminine quality, the divine feminine. And the Mars energy is how we act and how we assert ourselves. And that's the masculine energy. So when we balance those planets, we're really working on our own transformation and leaving behind the legacy that we came here to accomplish. And then we focus then on the outer planets, because we have to work on the self first.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me go back to the point that I was trying to make with this. We started out with 3 channels. Then we come into the cable years where there's 200 channels, and everyone would agree there's still nothing worth watching.
Yes.
And now we're into this phase where we've got TikTok, and Meta's pushing Facebook into Reels, and Instagram into Reels, and all of these little short. Even YouTube, I got an email from YouTube going, hey, cut up your big shows into little less than 15-minute spots for shorts, right? But here's what I'm pointing at with all that. We went from a small group of people telling us what to do to a large group of people telling us what to do, to humanity being able to speak for themselves.
Yes. Isn't that amazing?
Yes. So that's like where we're headed, I believe, over these next 21 years or whatever,
21.
where the community becomes literally global.
Yes.
Right? And you've got the ability, should you choose to have the courage to exercise that ability, to say what is authentic for you through whatever means possible, and trusting that the universe will put those ideas in front of like-minded people so that things can actually move forward better, instead of us having to live up to an inauthentic picture of what human being is supposed to look like.
100%. You said it so beautifully. And I agree 100% with what you're saying. And that's what the world is turning into within the next 21 years. So we're not going to be idolizing, like I idolize John, Elton John, or you idolize the Queen, right? So these are idols that we have. In the future, we won't. We will focus more on the self and what we're doing, what a legacy is that we're leaving behind. So that's beautiful. So the number 3, it's all about communication. It's ruled by Jupiter, and it's also co-ruled by Mercury and Gemini and Mercury. It's all about, communication. It's all about being a mediator. I also look at the Holy Trinity when I see the number 3, the Holy Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, or you could say Father, Mother, Child, however you want to look at it.
Big Daddy Junior and Spook.
It's the number of manifestation. And so what are we manifesting? I always say that if we're not on the right mindset, we're not going to manifest good things. We're just not, And so when we manifest, we have to be very careful because, like they say, be careful what you wish for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you might manifest it and it may not be what you really wanted or the way you think it's going to be. So we have to be careful with that manifestation. Again, go back to Mercury, which is all about how we perceive our reality, and see if we need to raise our consciousness to see it from a higher vantage point, if you will, or if we're inside a box. A lot of people, I find that they're inside a box, and so they get out of the box.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. That's really good. Really good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so what's the crystal?
What's the crystal? Oh, well, we'll get to that in just a second. One of the things about that number 3, that Trinity, if you will.
Yeah.
It always brings me, like you, I always think of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, like the Trinity of the Christian God as we have come to understand it, right? But I also always, right after that, it's like in my memory bank, they are connected, where it says, wherever 2 or more are gathered, there I am. I am being spirit. So, that's always what comes to mind for me with that Trinity.
And I love that too. I love that. And I love that, your perception adds to mine at the same time.
Right.
So I like that. I like that very much. And it's true. And if we stay in that I am presence, whoa, imagine what we could accomplish, right?
Absolutely.
So we should stay in that I am presence. That's why we're here to create and to leave behind, again, that legacy. We wouldn't, I always say, I just didn't come here to experience challenges and suffering. I also came here to conquer all of my negative karma, and then to step into who I really am. Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Awesome.
It never gets old. The commercial.
What? Go ahead.
It never gets old.
I know, right? I was picking music for the other thing today, and I'm like, oh my God, that's the name of that one. I got to write it down because I always forget. So at any rate, even though Krista is not here today, she is still taking orders for stickers. So slide into her DMs and leave her a whole bunch of messages for her to come home to. All right. All right, so we're going to try and do this, and we've done it before, but we're going to do it even better this time. Here we go.
All right.
Fantastic. All right, well, I want to give you a little bit of a look first of what lepidolite looks like, because it can show up in a number of different forms, but my favorite is the pink lavender color ones. So here you go. This is lepidolite, and it can be rough, it can be polished. Yeah, it's beautiful stones. And they are freaking wonderful for the kind of work that we Crones do. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of information. Now, this is from Love is in the Earth by Melody. This has always been my crystal Bible, if you will. And I called it that once in a crystal class, and one woman was like, "Oh, please don't call this." She was so used by religion that she couldn't call another book a Bible when the Latin word for book is Biblia.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we gotta heal those bits of us that are
we do
off from organized religion that we just can't even be with language anymore.
I call my ephemeris my Bible, because that's where I see all the planets and where they are and what's going on.
Yeah, it's the book that counts to whatever. So your ephemera is the book that counts to astrologers, and this one here, Love is in the Earth, is the book that counts to crystal hunters, and so on. All right. Yes. And wherever you are in the world in your version or not version, but whatever
reality
most important to you, there's nothing wrong with calling that your Bible.
That's right.
All right. So this is the cool thing about the lepidolite activates the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the third eye, and the intellect. Okay.
Wow.
The lepidolite actually does bring your brain into the work that needs to be done. So we can be dealing with not just from the third eye, right? Not just from the heart, not just from the throat, but bring logic in as well. Okay. To whatever we're working on with this. Right? It opens the crown chakra and allows for the flowering of the inner blue lotus, assisting one to become aware of subtle vibratory energies both within and without the self. Now, I don't know about you, but me in my particular past with crystals, I will share a crystal with somebody and I'll be like, feel that. And they hold it in their hands and they can't feel it. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, that doesn't mean the crystal isn't vibrating in a way that can be felt. Okay. Yes. It means that their mechanism for feeling that, whether by choice or not, has been turned way down. So they don't pick it up. Right. Yep. So this will help when they're working with lepidolite to make that register, if you will, a little bit more physically, like they'll be able to feel it, okay, and feel other stones as a result of opening that up, okay. It's also really good for stress reduction and to alleviate despondency. You know, that when cynical comes to an end, right? Like, I just don't fucking care anymore. I'm so done with this shit. There's nothing to live for anymore, right?
Yeah.
So it's refreshing and sentimental energy. It assists in transformation of the energies of lesser spiritual ideals to the energies of universal light, hope, and acceptance.
I like that.
That's freaking amazing. This is a fantastic stone. It's called the Stone of Transition, and it helps people through situations of variability in this life and assisting in the restructuring and organization of old patterns, okay? Wow. Which all of that right now, I'm just like ready to start on my own segment because that just feeds in perfectly to what I'll be talking about today, all right? Now, and again, none of it is ever.
Yeah, it all falls into place all the time.
Always. Now,
I have a lepidolite, but it's like flat. So I put it under my pillow sometimes.
Oh, fantastic.
That's flat. It's like very flat. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And you know what? It does help with astral travel too. So your location viewing.
Yes.
That will help you with that. Absolutely. Okay. So I'm just kind of scanning over and see if there's anything else, because it doesn't feel like there's really much more to talk
I mean,
about.
but you said a lot. It's
A lot of more
amazing.
information, right?
Yeah.
So for our purposes today, we want to work with the lepidolite, okay? We want to work with it on terms of the higher chakras, right? You're got the heart, the throat, the third eye. It opens the crown. It allows you to sense things more realistically, right? Not just like pretend it's there and it's invisible, but actually sensing the vibrations and frequencies of the things around you so that you can more powerfully navigate the possibilities of life. Okay? Does that make a lot of sense?
Yep, it does.
I love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful stone.
It's almost like attuning us.
Yes.
You know? It's like almost like attuning us to what's around us.
Yes. And it's a very interesting stone in that it's got a bit of mica in it. So it's got a little flash, but it's also it's very rough when it's not in its polished form.
Yeah.
So it can catch the light quite nicely, right? But it can also be very smooth and very soothing to work with. Yeah. All right. Anything else we want to put in for that right now?
You know, I love that you were talking about the throat chakra, because I definitely feel like the throat chakra and the sacral, which is the emotional, are so connected. When we don't express our emotions through, you know, speaking, expressing it, we get buried in it. You know what I mean? And so it's also working with that emotional aspect of the self is really so important, because a lot of the times we don't want to fight, so we keep quiet. We don't want to cause problems, so we keep quiet, and so we're burying it. Yeah. And so I feel that it blocks everything else when we do that. You know, it blocks the higher chakras, if you will, when we bury our emotions. You know.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, it's funny. I was just talking this week about that we don't create abundance, we create limitations.
Yes.
Right. And when we're not speaking authentically, right, about our desires, our needs, our wants, right, then we have no opportunity to receive them.
100%.
You know, it was the quote goes, "Ask and ye shall receive, not think about it and ye shall receive." It wasn't exactly about hinting you shall receive, although sometimes that works. So if you've got an aware person on the other end of the hinting, but it really is about speak what it is that you desire. And that's the way that you allow yourself to receive it, right?
Exactly.
And it's funny when you were talking about that sacral, that emotional part of it, right? And sometimes our voice may tremble when it's highly charged emotion. But in those moments, it's even more important to allow that out into the world through your throat, right? Exactly. Even when your voice trembles, that's when it's got all exponential power to it, right? Because there's that energy behind it, that emotional energy behind it. And when we're talking about manifestation work, especially, right? We've got to put those prayers and visualizations out there with the emotional energy behind it, because that is what is magnetic. Right?
Exactly.
It's the emotion that draws that back to us, whatever it is that we are seeking to align with. Right?
100%.
And we have to remember, like does not attract like. Okay, it's an oversimplified way of putting it. Okay. Yeah. We resonate with things that complement each party. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily going to go out there and attract something exactly like you. You're going to attract what will fill your gaps, what will resonate with you. All right. Yeah. So if you're not attracting that which you would like to attract, you've got to shift your own vibration so that is a receptive to whatever it is that you want, right? I remember
it's so funny, because also, like, when we speak of the moon, right? That
Yes.
is the sacral. That's the emotional center. And then we speak of
Right.
the throat is Mercury.
Mm,
So when we look at it from a sense of the planets, right?
right.
And the Pluto energy is actually a higher active of the moon. So Pluto
Uh-huh.
wants you to unearth all those emotions and clear them out so that you can have clear, self-expression. So you can express yourself clearly and you can get what it is you're asking for. Unless you clear that, you're not going to get it.
Right. There's always going to be filters and hair all over what it is that you actually manifest until you
Yes,
have clarity in your
exactly.
asking and releasing the barriers to receiving. Right. But
Exactly.
I feel like it gets overlooked so much about those barriers that we put in place to receiving. I was talking to one of the girls that I work with, and she's very young and she's been doing manifesting work. And she's like, things were happening like this. You remember a few weeks ago, we went through that period of time where the manifestations were just happening immediately. And it was like wonderful for those who've been doing the work for a long time. For her,
Exactly.
she was scared. She's like, oh my gosh, and then it didn't happen quite so fast. And she's like, oh, I'm wrong. I'm bad. What did I do wrong this time? Why is this not working anymore? And I'm like, that was the barrier.
Yeah.
The doubt, the fear,
the blockage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what put that in place.
Exactly.
So, I recommended to her, just like I'm going to recommend to everyone watching right now, ask to have the barriers to your receiving removed.
I also tell people, everybody has free will, so we can't really kind of interfere with other people's free will when we're doing our own manifestation. So I always tell people to be mindful of that, because again, everybody has free will, and we can't, sort of like, if you're manifesting trying to be with a particular person and they have free will and they don't want to be with you, then you shouldn't be doing that manifestation.
Yeah. And what is given to you will be taken.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can ask for someone with those qualities, someone that has those qualities that you like within that other person. So we can attract similar qualities. You know what I'm saying? So that you can ask for, but not buying somebody else's free will, because that's not good.
And let me just kind of clarify what you just said. We can ask for it, right? But it's kind of like, have you ever seen that movie Pet Sematary?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I read the book, actually. Or does a Stephen King book justice? But the fact of the matter, in this book, the little boy is run over by a semi truck and killed, and they put him in the special cemetery, and the kid comes back to life, and it's not the same kid. Okay, that is 100% a snapshot of the energy of asking for things that are unethical for you to ask for. There is a normal, logical progression to life. We live, we grow, we love, we die.
Yeah.
Okay? And if we try and fuck with that formula, what comes to us is not what we initially expected to be.
Exactly.
You can do it. I don't recommend it.
I don't recommend it either.
Right?
I'm messing with that.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely. So yeah, I saw one Facebook meme, and it speaks exactly to what you're talking about. It said, "God will never give you someone else's husband."
It's unfair, you're hurting someone else.
Yeah, that's not a gift from God, sweetheart. That's
not.
That's your ego controlling a situation. No, God will never give you someone else's husband and cause a person who has made a vow to God and to the community around them to break that vow for your sake. It's not happening.
Except for the new queen, right?
Ouch. That was real. Oh, karma all the way around on that one.
Yes.
So glad we are not actually British subjects. Oh, okay. All righty. So, and good luck, Britain. We love
Yeah.
you.
Good luck with that.
Well, let's talk real quickly for a second about Patreon, because we've got more Moon and Woos coming up soon. Silly me, I hit the wrong button. So before we go into what I'm talking about today, let's talk a little bit about Patreon. Because what we do over there for the amethyst level people is that prior to each new moon and full moon of the month, we start talking about what they could be doing and what to use that particular moon in that particular phrase for manifestation work. So if you would like a little bit more hands-on one-on-one time with any of us three Crones and learn a little bit more about what you can do to have the moon have more of an impact in your life, come on over to Patreon and sign up for the amethyst level. And if the amethyst level is not necessarily for you, check out the citrine level, because we are always dropping stuff in there as well that's not as regimented or structured as the Moon and Woo, to make your life a little bit more interesting. Damaris, what was the last thing that you popped in there? You remember?
Oh gosh, I have to write something up for that. I forgot what I wrote the last time. I think I was talking about, actually, speaking of Taurus and all of that, we also going back to like herbal medicine, right? Because obviously we need to go back to Mother Nature to find our healing, right? In every aspect. So I think I was writing something with the herb, the herbal medicine, and we are actually going back to that. We're going back to basics. I really truly believe that.
Which reminds me, right now is the time to harvest your dandelions.
I heard that they have so many healing properties, and we used to think that they are weeds.
Yeah. No. The roots will be used for one thing, the blossoms for another, the leaves for tea. You can use every part of a dandelion, and I promise you, there are videos on YouTube that will show you exactly how. I have seen a few of them myself, which is why I'm so like looking out the window going, yay, I'm going to go.
I always thought they were weeds, back in the day.
That's what we were taught. Or, mama had a baby and her head popped off. The flipping blossoms everywhere. That was ours.
Somebody even said that it's like the dandelions are like the moon, the stars, and the sun. Like it represents all of those three planets.
Yes,
crazy.
Absolutely. We used to get a bunch of them underneath our chin and go, do you like butter? And if it reflected yellow underneath your chin, apparently you like butter. That's before you know the laws of light and physics. So
yeah.
Yeah. All righty. So let's talk about what it is that we're here to talk about today, or what I'm here to talk about is.
Yeah.
And that is change is unavoidable, right? But chaos, that's optional.
Yeah,
you really don't have to indulge in, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, because things have changed, right?
Yeah.
And everything that we talked about today so far up to this point kind of leads into that, right? We're going to have a whole bunch of stuff going on, especially right now, like you were talking about retrograde season, Taurus and Jupiter and, Mercury retrograde. Pluto. Yeah, Pluto, Uranus, all of that. There's a lot going on up there.
There is.
And it's not as simple and straightforward as, it's Mercury retrograde. Okay, I expect my computer to crash out on me. I expect my printer to jam up. I expect to forget an appointment or, blah, blah, blah. That's surface level. Then you've got all of this other stuff that's in here, right? Combining and at the same time, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of changes going on. Okay.
Yeah. You know what comes to mind really quick is like life is happening for us, not to us. Yes. So all of these planets are showing us it's really for us, and we have to pay attention and make the necessary changes. But when we look at it from the perspective like we're being attacked, then we're not going to, fix or balance whatever it is we need to balance.
Yes, absolutely. And with, for example, today's stone, lepidolite, remember I mentioned that's a transition stone.
Yeah.
It's not just for helping you feel decent in the present, right? It's also for restructuring and reconstituting what has been from the past, right?
I love
So
that.
using that lepidolite stone in our forward moving affirmations and meditations going forward, that will help us to not just create a new paradigm where within we can actually speak our heart and from our intuition and logic combined and interact with the universe so that it all falls into place the way that we would like it to, right? It's also going to allow us to loosen the hold that the past has on us, right?
100%.
Because it brings in that intellect part. Because remember, the intellect is essentially been taught or trained by the subconscious that goes, hey, that sucked. Let's not do that anymore.
Exactly.
Right? And protects us from doing that anymore going forward, right?
Exactly.
So when we have this lepidolite structure helping us to recalibrate that past, right? So that we can possibly free ourselves up from, well, this sucked a little bit, but I got to get past this suckage to get at what I want, then we can move forward. All right. So definitely bring the lepidolite into your affirmations and your meditations so that you can help lessen the pull or lessen the barrier, if you will, that our intellect puts in front of us, saying, oh, if you put yourself out there like that, they're not going to like you. They're going to point and laugh. They're going to make fun of you.
And that's a real conversation that a lot of us have.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I know I've had that conversation with myself.
Me too. Me too. Awesome. So yeah, face that change that wants to happen in your life, knowing that it doesn't have to be out of control. It doesn't have to be okay, fine. Let me qualify what I just said with out of control. It doesn't have to be out of control. It doesn't have to be chaotic. Okay. But being out of control is not necessarily a bad thing, because if we were still in control, those barriers would still be in place and running our lives, right?
Yes.
We do need to be out of our mind at times. We do
100%
control at times, you know, and that's what brings the adventure. That's what brings the new possibilities, right? Instead of the regurgitation and reoccurrence of all of the things that we've already experienced in the past over and over again with just a slightly different
variation. I call it being unreasonable sometimes.
Yes.
I don't want to reason.
Yeah.
So I want to get out of the mind, like you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, as you go forward this week, keep all of those little bits in mind. Know that there is change afoot. There is change happening. You will not avoid it. It's going to happen just as surely as the queen passed and her son became king.
That's right.
Change happens. But even among all of that, right? And for those of you who did or didn't get to see, when Charles arrived at Westminster Cathedral the other morning, William and Kate and their children were supposed to have already been there, and they weren't in line in the proper place. Okay. And the king, you could see, the camera got a little close to his face. He was not pleased. Not pleased.
I'm sure.
But here's the thing. The people that were responsible for making that entire event work like clockwork fixed the situation in a way that we don't know what they had to do, but it all fell into place. So that's what I'm showing you as far as change is inevitable. It's unavoidable, but chaos is optional.
That's right.
King Charles could have gotten out of his carriage and just read everyone the riot act up and down and all about, and we go, okay, he's a king. He gets to do that shit, But he didn't, right? Chaos is optional. You don't have to have a huge breakdown just because somebody moved your cheese. right?
That's a tantrum.
Yeah. You know, you don't have to do that. You can trust. You can trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it's supposed to. And even if you can't see the end result now, you can trust that it will show up that way eventually. Oh, look,
100%.
Krista's joining us. She's in Scotland. And so is Sue from Class Act Imports. I've been seeing pictures from her all week. Lovely, lovely pictures of lambs and such. So thank you so much for checking in, and tell Mama Crone we said hi, Miss Krista.
Yes.
Great. Awesome stuff. So yeah, just take a deep breath, everybody.
Yes, we definitely take, and we stop and smell the roses too.
Yes. And pick the dandelions.
Yes, smell the dandelions.
Just put in your salad. Eat some. They're fine. As
We'll
long
have
as,
to try
as long
that.
as you know that nobody's been trying to pesticide your shit, okay? Or, you know, Roundup fertilize your lawn.
Oh my God, that will kill you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it'll make you a little sick, but it won't, you know, if you're not eating a whole
Didn't
lawn.
they say that it had cancer chemicals in it or something cancer causing?
It does. It can cause cancer in as little as 2 applications. Yeah, that's what I read. Yikes. All right. So let's talk a little bit about today's card of the day.
What is it? 2 of Swords.
Yes, the 2 of Swords. The card of self-imposed indecision. Yes. Yes, you've got your blades up. You're like, get the fuck away from me. And you can't see a way out, even though all you got to do is stand up and walk, bitch. You know?
She's blindfolded.
My
She might
tarot
fall.
readings are a lot of fun, I'm sure.
Gayle.
What?
She might fall. She's blindfolded.
She could fall, you know, she could fall, or she could put down the swords and take off the blinders. You know? So if you've got a decision to make that you're avoiding because you don't know how it's going to come out, put down the sword and take off the blinder.
Yeah.
Okay. Ask for clarity. Ask to have the barrier removed, you know,
Yes.
and move forward knowing that, you know, things might show up a little bit differently, but it's all going to work out. Everything will be okay. Okay? Everything will be okay.
To me, like she's all in her head. She's not even in her emotions.
Right? No,
Yeah.
she's not being touched by her emotions. Look where the water is.
Behind her.
Yeah, it's not touching her feet. It's not even touching her chair.
She's very rational.
Emotions at bay. She's got her back to them, right? Yeah. Good call. Good call.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. We want to say congratulations to this week's Woo Woo giveaway winner, Mr. Michael J. Tobin.
Congratulations.
Woo, thank you for being part of the 3 Crones and the Woo Woo. All you have to do is reach out to one of us for your prize. Now, for those of you who don't know what we're doing, every week we give away a 30-minute reading. Now, Krista's readings is still in the running for this. Yeah. She's as much a part of the show as anyone else, and she is with us here in spirit. So if you pick me, it'll be an intuitive tarot reading. If you pick Miss Damaris, it will be a numerology reading. And if you pick Miss Krista, it will be a crystal reading. All right. So all you got to do is reach out to us, one of us, whoever it is that you pick, into our messenger, say, hey, I picked you. When can I get on your schedule? And do that. All right. We will get you right on the schedule as soon as possible. Now, for all of you who didn't win this week, don't give up. You can still win. And if you would like to just go ahead and get a reading from any of us, just reach out into our DMs. We have office hours on Monday and are available for that for scheduled times then. But we might have a few openings throughout the week as well. So if Monday doesn't work for you, reach out and ask. Won't hurt. We promise we won't bite. Okay? So yeah, reach out for that. And also, if you will indulge me one more moment, if you watch tomorrow night and make a more than $30 donation for the paid private event done by Joanne Barry Cologne, with me as the featured speaker this week. You will also receive a 30-minute reading from me at no additional charge. Awesome. So again, that link is paypal.me/jabcologne/15. All right. So more than $30 gets you a 30-minute reading from me at our mutual convenience. Awesome. Well, thank you, Damaris, for holding this together with me this week.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Miss Krista. It's been a pleasure. Been very much a pleasure. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We really do appreciate your presence and you're taking the time to be with us. And we'll see you again soon next week. Bye-bye.